Dr. Bryan K. Hotchkins here. Today, we're going to cover book interlude number 3. I can argue that this is the most important one, even though I positioned it as number 3. And it is simple as such. Monitor your racial vulnerabilities. I ask people when I do lectures often this question. I want you to think about who you were pre-COVID and post-George Floyd. Again, pre-COVID and post-George Floyd. The reason why I ask the question is there's a body of research that talks about proximity and racial trauma as it relates to closeness to racism. And so whether that is a racist person, place, space, or time, right? The more frequently that we're exposed, the more directly we are adversely impacted, right? And so I want you to make a list. I want everybody to take out a pen and pad or your phone and type in the names of people, spaces, and places where you feel like you are most safe in your environment. So whether that's work, whether that is school, whether that is church, right? Even if it's at home, where you feel most safe. Then, just opposed to that, I want you to do the same to make a list of people, spaces, places, and times where you feel like you're most threatened, right? And so, if you have to go to those places where you're most threatened in order to earn a living, you need to be cognizant of how do I create distance from, again, those people, spaces, places, and times, right? Because what I don't want to do is have a catastrophic personal meltdown, right? I don't want to have high anxiety. I don't want to experience depression. I don't want to have anxiety or panic attacks for fear of having to go to work, to church, to school, to be in a certain class, right? And so it is imperative that you ask yourself, what are the things that I can do that bring me joy, right? What are those ways that I can practice escapism? And so I remember when I was working on my doctorate at the University of Utah, I think that I frequently spent way too much time playing the PlayStation 4, right? But I was the only Black doc student in my Ph.D. program. And so it served as a way for me to disconnect from education, from the process where I could just be my regular self, right? And so, again, I spent hours playing the game when I probably shouldn't have, but I was mindful of my racial vulnerabilities, right? And how to create an escapism mechanism. And so I encourage you to log your vulnerabilities, log your escape routes, right? And engage in disconnecting yourself from racial exhaustion.